Hello and welcome to a very snoozy episode of the Autistic Experience, your one-stop shop podcast for neurodivergent news, guinea pigs, plants, guinea pigs, wine bottles, cheese, and something else.
Looking around the room again.
Yep. New episodes come out every Sunday at noon British time, and while you're not listening to this, you can go follow us on Instagram at the Autistic Experience for references to all of the news stories and events that we cover in each of our episodes. My name is Kieran, as always joined by Chloe.
Hey.
Hi. Now, why is it a snoozy episode? Well, I have just had a quick power nap before recording this on our brand new sofa.
Yay!
And when I say brand new, I mean new to us. It is not new.
No, because it's expensive.
Sofas are expensive, but this was not, because we got it from the British Heart Foundation, which is a charity shop here in the UK.
Supporting charities.
Hearts. Yes.
Supporting hearts,
Yes,
and
that's the
getting
one.
new sofas.
Yeah. So that was a whole... I mean, we may as well just hop straight into home news, really. I mean,
Home news.
you know, we'll get onto the news stories which have garnered our attention shortly. But yeah, we'll tell the story of how we got this old spanking new sofa.
Yeah.
We've been wanting to try and get a new sofa for quite a long time now.
Yeah. I want to say here that I am quite particular with sofas and the way they feel. And so the sofa that we had already was not to my standards.
It was not comfortable.
No.
It is the main thing.
But then obviously trying to find another sofa that was,
Difficult.
but that was also not like ugly.
Yeah.
It's hard. Because, you know, like they're either too upright or too firm or too squishy or springy, or like there's just so much that can be wrong with. I'm like the princess and the pea on a sofa. I am. Like if it's not quite right, or if there's like a tiny little bit of spring that's sticking out, I will find it. And then I will reject it.
Yeah, we've been wanting to get a replacement sofa for quite a long time now. So we went, you know what? How about we actually have a look and go get a sofa? So I had a look online and found that the British Heart Foundation actually do furniture in a couple of shops close to us. And we had some extra money for Christmas. So you had some present money. I had a little job bonus.
Yeah. Shout out, Dad. Christmas present sofa.
Yeah. And so, yeah, we went down to the local shop and we had a look. There were quite a few fairly nice sofas, some which were a bit more expensive than we were looking for. Some which were, as you said, you know, didn't feel right. There were some which felt quite plasticky, and quite nasty.
Yeah.
There were some which weren't comfortable enough. There were some which were too soft.
Or like if you get the ones that have that horrible kind of velvety feeling fabric on them that I can't touch because it gives me sensory problems and makes me actually physically cringe.
But eventually we found the one we're sitting on now, but we kind of remembered it. We took a photo of it. We were like, okay, we'll remember this one, because there was actually a second shop
Yeah.
a couple of miles away. So we went, okay, you know, we've done our first bit of research. Let's go to the other one, see if there's anything decent in there. There were some very nice ones in the second one.
Yeah, but
they're all more expensive for some reason.
Yeah.
So we were like, well, you know, it's getting cold, it's getting dark. Let's head back. That was the day we saw that big Asda lorry on fire.
Oh, yeah. It was, yeah. Featuring on Manchester Evening News, if you haven't seen it. Driver was okay.
The contents, not so much.
Yeah. Contents no longer exist.
No. Contents, well, they do exist. They've just been transferred into the atmosphere.
Lovely. That's what we like, isn't it?
So we went home after that and went, okay, you know, there's no rush. And then we left it about 5 days, something like that.
Yeah, about that.
And then we kind of went, well, we got a spare day. How about we head back? So we went back to the same British Art Foundation shop to try and get this. And then when we walk in, we were like, it's not where it was.
Yeah. Thought it's gone.
It's gone.
No.
They just moved it.
Yeah.
It had a shift around it. It was somewhere else.
But I think that was enough to say, actually. I think we both we both settled on that one.
Yeah, I think we were kind of looking for that.
Yeah, and we both panicked a little bit when we saw it wasn't there anymore. Well, we were both slightly disappointed anyway.
But luckily, we found it a bit further into the shop.
Yes.
And it had actually been reduced in price.
Yay!
But since the 5 days since. I had to pay quite a lot in delivery, though, because, it's not going to fit in the back of the car.
Yeah. Just imagining it on the roof or something.
Yeah, that would have been like Mr. Bean.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it had been reduced by more or less what the delivery was, so it's not too bad.
Bargain.
Yeah.
I'm very pleased with this.
So we paid for it in cash, which must have looked very weird.
Yeah, the guy did say to me, like, just, you can return it and get a refund within 28 days, but just be aware that we don't normally necessarily have this much cash in the till.
That's all right. We don't have this much cash in our wallets.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, we paid for it. And 3 days later, today, as we're recording, it got delivered. Yay. And it went up the stairs, through the doors, and straight down the hall, absolutely perfectly.
Like butter on a fresh
Crumpet.
piece of toast. Oh, yeah, right. Like butter on a crumpet. That's better.
Butter on a crumpet sliding down an Olympic curling track.
Exactly like that. Yeah.
No normal analogies here, folks.
I mean, it is accurate though.
Yeah.
Like it came in quite nice.
So
these are the things you appreciate when you get to
make sure you measure sofas.
Yes.
Take a tape measure with you. Measure your door widths.
Do you want to mention the other little story briefly?
Oh, I mean, we got a Costco membership sorted.
Yeah.
Woo. And you got one which you've been obsessed with for ever.
Yes, I like Costco a lot. I also bought 1/2 kilo of crisps.
You did.
Truffle crisps.
And some meatballs.
Yes. The thing I don't understand, though, is that you'd think that Costco, being the way it is, would be quite stressful. Because it's really big. It's not particularly well signposted or organised. Like, there's a lot of people just wandering around with massive trolleys. But I really like Costco. I wonder why Costco doesn't stress me out as much as, like, Aldi or something.
The Aldi in the Arndale Centre
that's the worst.
is much worse than that.
I think probably because everything's so big and so novelty, that kind of distracts me from the things that bother me. I just enjoy exploring.
But then also we had one of the hot dogs.
We did, yeah. Having a nice £1.50 hot dog and soda.
Yes, we will probably update you with any more Costco adventures as we go.
Yes. Any mega purchases.
But for the time being anyway, I think we should probably actually, get on with the actual podcast.
Maybe.
Because it's getting kind of late. So how this show normally works is that we have a look at some of the news stories which have grabbed our attention over the last week, which are either about neurodivergent folk, written by neurodivergent folk, or have been written for neurodivergent folk. Which, come to think of it, neurodivergent folk is probably one very interesting genre of music. So we're going to have a look at 3 articles. Today, the first one was published on Women's Agenda, which is an online site.
Yes.
I'm not sure how to describe it sometimes. It's womensagenda.com.au. And it's called How Autistic Burnout Ignited My Passion for Creating Inclusive Workplaces. So it's effectively a personal story from the author, who is a very high up engineer.
Yeah.
Who, unbeknownst to her, was experiencing quite severe burnout.
Yeah.
And then ended up being unable to work for 6 months due to it. It was only then that she got diagnosed as both autistic and ADHD.
Yeah.
And she's rather found out the hard way that disclosing that to employers has ended up not great
Yeah.
for her. Because let me find a bit of a quote here. She says that she went for, an interview with some people, a role that she was definitely qualified for, probably too qualified for at the time. And, she told them about her diagnoses. And the quote she's written from them is, "How can you lead people if you're autistic?"
Yeah, that was a bit of a shocking one to read.
Yeah. Which, yeah. Unfortunately, the stereotypes of being autistic and ADHD are still very much alive and kicking.
Yeah.
And either you, disclose your diagnoses and you get ridiculed, or you don't get the job because people just don't want to deal with it because they think they know what it's like and they don't.
Yep.
Or you don't disclose it and you have massive issues.
Yeah, it was like lack of support.
Yeah, lack of support, no, reasonable accommodations or anything.
Yeah.
And then stuff starts to go wrong.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a no-win situation. Kind of a shame, but this person, I think this is in Australia. This person has set up what she's called the Safe Space Collective, which I think is kind of a thing to help businesses in Australia implement support for neurodivergent people in kind of a day-to-day.
Yeah. But I think it's good that it's being delivered to the employers rather than anyone else, because I think, anyone that is neurodivergent knows that they struggle with work and employment on the whole, so kind of we don't need to be told anymore about what to do. So it's actually the employers and the people in charge of hiring and being responsible for, neurodivergent employees that need to be taught about it.
Yeah, well, imagine if they kind of did that. I mean, I'm sure people still do that, but with physical disabilities.
Yeah.
If they're like, "Oh, we don't want to employ you because we don't want to put a ramp in," well, we'd have to fix the lift. So
Yeah. I mean, it probably does happen, but you're right.
I'm sorry, no one wants to learn sign language.
Yeah, it's more shocking when it's a visible thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
As we've said before, as we all know. But I think it's a good thing to get out there because, the person who wrote this is very, like you said, very qualified, very experienced in the field, and yet is being rejected from jobs just because of being autistic. That needs to not happen.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you're turning away potentially really valuable people just on something that's not really relevant or important, to be honest.
If you want to have a read of that article yourself, you can go to our Instagram page at The Autistic Experience and go and find the little post we have for this week's episode, and information will be on that. But we'll shift on to the second article for today. It's an interesting one. This is from clinicaltrialsarena.com, and it's the news that Neurosigma, which is sort of a wearable treatment for ADHD,
Yeah.
has been given the green light from the FDA, which is the Food and Drug Administration in the United States, to do 2 clinical trials by the end of 2024. So you're going to get a lot of very scientific words coming at you right now. So Neurosigma, it's let's say it together, folks, it's an external trigeminal nerve stimulation system. That was easier than I thought, actually. So it works, it says, by delivering mild electrical impulses to the trigeminal nerve, which is a major cranial nerve, brain nerve, involved in various sensory functions. It's kind of designed to take the place of medication. So from what I can tell, it acts as like a stimulant, in place of chemical stimulants, by just doing little electrical impulses just to go bzz, bzz, go, 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 just to keep it I'm not sure how it would work on the more hyperactive ADHD.
Yeah, I mean that would be something interesting, I suppose, for them to
But
investigate.
I'm sure they've got it sorted because they've got clinical trials
Yeah.
coming up. But I think it would be very
Yeah.
interesting to see how it works or if it works properly.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I think especially with the ADHD medication shortage, which is still raging on,
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well.
having some sort of wearable option, that seems like a real step forward.
Yeah, you don't have to necessarily have gaps between it, and it's probably easier to remember or like schedule than having to, if you've got someone with ADHD, having to try and remember to take their medication.
Yeah.
But also, it just sounds like it's really non-invasive at all. It doesn't put anything in your body. If it's just electrical impulses, then you're not putting anything in your body that could kind of upset other things or so.
Yeah.
I mean, if it works, it sounds like it would be really good for treating and kind of reducing side effects from treatment as well.
I mean, give it a couple of years, maybe up till 2030, we might be able to see a wearable ADHD treatment. By then, they might have sorted the medication. But
I don't know, I doubt it, but that would be pretty cool to see, I think.
Yeah. All right, the third story we're going to cover today is from North Edinburgh News, which is nen.press. The title is Autism Initiative Strides into 7th Year of Walk for Autism Challenge. Now, that is a headline that doesn't actually make sense. So, I'll paraphrase. Every year they do a Walk for Autism, which is basically a charity sort of a thing where they do a big walk and people give them money to do so. And then that money goes to help various different autism charities and schemes throughout the country. So it says, the annual campaign invites participants from up and down the country to walk 10,000 steps a day, wherever they choose. Walk for Autism takes place across 8 days, setting off on March the 26th and finishing on World Autism Awareness Day, which is April the 2nd. Now, I think we mentioned it it might have been last year, or maybe I saw something online, but it's a good thing that World Autism Day is on April the 2nd.
Yeah.
Because if it was on April the 1st, that's just mean.
Can you imagine?
Considering like one of the things on the autism test is, are they able to understand jokes?
Yeah.
It's a bit of a cruel thing. Going, hey, autism, you're cool. April Fool.
Yeah.
It says last year, 5,000 people took part and they raised £480,000.
Pretty good.
Totaling 160 million steps.
Oof.
Registrations, I'm just scrolling past a load of people's quotes.
Yeah.
Because people say things. And blah, blah, blah,
It was,
blah, blah.
yeah, that article was, it's written a bit weirdly, I think, isn't it? With just breakages in between everything and adverts and things.
Yeah. So, yeah, the whole thing is, it's a campaign led by a Liverpool-based charity, Autism Initiatives Group, and registrations open tomorrow, in fact, the 22nd of January.
Ooh.
And if you want to get involved with that, you can go to, you know what, just go to autisminitiatives.org.
I was quite inspired after reading it to think about giving it a go myself, because I think it's one of these things that's really good for giving you a reason to go out and do the thing. So, like, I would love to be more active, but it's really hard to just make yourself get out of the house. And so, you know, if you could raise money, but then also use it to get yourself out and be active, because you kind of have to, because that's what people have donated for, then, you know, you can kind of benefit from that as well. And for us neurodivergent people, the incentive to go out and walk and almost the need to, because you've kind of, you know, you kind of have to, Like, that's really useful.
Well, here's an incentive for you. If you raise £20, then they will send you a t-shirt.
Hey. Yeah, I reckon I saw that and I thought I could probably raise £20. Like,
I'll donate £20 to you.
Yeah,
You donate
yeah.
£20 to me. We both get a
Yeah.
t-shirt.
I'm sure, like, I could get some family members to donate a couple of quid, but I'll raise exactly £20 and then that is it. They're like, oh, you raised just enough for a t-shirt. I'm like, oh, funny that, isn't it?
Wow. But yeah, if you want to get involved with that, you can either go to the Autism Initiative's website, or you can probably just Google Walk for Autism 2024. But that's the stories we're going to be having a look at. We're just going to zoom through the events which are coming up this next week, because we probably spent too much time talking about Costco earlier on.
And sofas.
Yeah. So, coming up Monday the 22nd, so this is tomorrow, it's the Autism Group Support and Discussion Group, hosted by Improving Lives, and this is in Clydebank, which I believe is in Scotland. I already had a look. It's just to the northwest of Glasgow, I think. Oh, it's up towards Loch Lomond. Nice.
Oh.
We don't have time for the singing. So this runs between 3 and 5 in the afternoon, and they basically do it every other Monday. So if you don't get to this one, then they're coming at you thick and fast like a milkshake on roller skates.
Oh my God. Jesus.
Then, coming up on the 23rd, so Tuesday, this is happening at Conway Hall, which is somewhere. Red Lion Square in London.
Oh, so not Conway.
Not Conway, no. Just what they'd expect.
Yeah.
This is Unmasked, Neurodivergence and Comedy, running between 6:30 and 8 o'clock, but doors open at 6:15. So this is kind of a discussion between neurodivergent comedians Joe Wells, who we've mentioned before on the podcast, and Victoria Melody. And I imagine they're going to be doing a little bit of jokes, but it's not a stand-up. It's more of a discussion between them about how neurodivergent people and comedy mix, basically.
Yeah.
I think, weirdly enough, comedy is one of those things where there are more neurodivergent people than aren't.
I think it's one of the things that kind of suits the brain a bit more than other things, isn't it?
Yeah, because comedy is based on setting up expectations and then subverting them.
Yeah.
So if you've got one of those brains, like Sam Campbell, for instance,
Yeah.
you think you know where something's going, and then it just goes off in a completely different way.
Yeah.
And that surprise is what comedy is.
Yeah. And you can be weird and it's fine.
Yeah, you can basically be yourself and people accept you for it.
Yeah.
Which is the dream.
Isn't it?
So it says it's recommended for 16 plus. This is ages, not party groups. If you buy tickets in person, then it's £9. But if you buy it online, it's £6. Details for that are on conwayhall.org.uk. And also, I think it's streaming as well, so it's going to be a virtual event. So even if you can't make it in person, you can watch it online.
Yeah, that might be interesting to pick up a bit of if we can.
Yeah, maybe.
Do a bit of a chat about it.
Then on the 24th, so Wednesday, we've got 3 days in a row.
Whoa,
Look at that.
Keeping you busy.
This is a relaxed, autism-friendly performance of Robin Hood, the pantomime.
Whoop.
Happening at the Crack Theatre. It's either Coalisland, probably Coalisland. It's spelt Coal Island. I don't know what you want me to do with that information, but it's in County Tyrone. It's probably pronounced Coalisland, isn't it? Not Coal Island.
Yeah, maybe.
It's one word.
Who's to say?
Probably them.
Certainly not me. Yeah,
not me,
probably them.
So it starts at 7:30. Ticket prices are £6 with an extra little booking fee. But it says, for this performance, technical changes will be made. These include quieter music, reducing loud or surprising sound effects, and the house lights are faintly dimmed but remain on. And there will also be a relaxation area in the foyer of the theatre.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like the sound of that.
So tickets are available online at crackartscentre.co.uk, spelt the Irish way.
Yeah, not CRACK.
Not the drugs way. The Irish way.
I was thinking bum, but
Yeah, fine. Not the bum way, the Irish way.
not the bum way.
But yeah, it's good to see more autism-friendly performances of things.
Yeah.
I think it would be worth going, if there was one around, like nearby us, it'd be worth going to one just to see what it's like.
Yeah, I feel like you'd have to go to a sensory friendly one and then compare it to the sensory friendly one and see how different it is.
I think we've been to plenty of non-sensory friendly performances.
Yeah, to be fair.
So we know what they're going to be like.
Maybe.
But I do think it would be interesting doing an actual comparison between the two.
Yeah. Can you imagine? I've been thinking about a sensory friendly version of Hamilton. Like, I don't know if that would be possible.
I think just turning the volume down a little bit will do it. That's not a discussion for now. So those are the events we picked out. There are, of course, more things going on around the UK, but those are our favourites for this upcoming week, or at least the most interesting ones. Next week, of course, we'll have even more events, more stories to look at, and probably more weird things that have gone on in our life that we can talk about.
Definitely weird things.
As always, if you want to follow us on Instagram, you are more than welcome. Our page is at The Autistic Experience, and you can find references to all the stories and events we've covered in this week's episode. But yeah, I think that's it. We'll leave you to it. Have a good one. I've been Kieran, she's been Chloe, and if you just happen to be in the vicinity of a Costco and you find £1.50 on the floor, you know what that is. That's a free lunch. You go get it.